Good evening, folks. It's a fucking freezing cold evening here in jolly old England. And of course, this weekend we have Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Smith at middleweight. It's a big pay-per-view card from England this weekend on Sky, and I wasn't going to pay for it, to be honest. I really wasn't going to pay for it because, you know, to me it's not pay-per-view worthy. But I'm being treated to it by someone very dear to me. So out of the goodness of my heart, I will accept it and I will watch it. Now, I watched the press conference earlier today, and I found it highly amusing. The little jabs back at the childish nonsense you expect from these sorts of things, which I thoroughly enjoy, because it is childish nonsense. And then I saw it, and then a little while later I was scrolling through YouTube, and I came across a YouTube video from Sky Sports Boxing apologising for the homophobic language used. I don't recall any offensive homophobic language, but then I watched it again, and okay, yes, there was the silly little I think basically that Chris likes boys or likes men comment, which, okay, but I'd hardly call that homophobic, you know. So, and I thought to myself, why are people getting upset about this crap? And then I remembered we live in 2023 and everybody's a fucking snowflake and gets easily offended about nonsense. I mean, for Christ's sake, it's boxing. If you're that offended by things like that, you won't be watching boxing in the first place. So I found that a bit curious. But I think Eubank Jr. has definitely got into Smith's head, and I would actually have Smith winning the fight. Eubank, sorry, doesn't make any sense. I'm old, my mind's going. I actually have Eubank winning this fight quite easily. Actually, I'll be very, very surprised if Smith wins this. I mean, I like Smith. He's a very, very talented fighter, but and Eubank's his own worst enemy sometimes, and he doesn't always live up to the potential. You know, he's not his dad. I've said this before about him. But he could have been so much more, and I do actually believe he could be good enough to win a world title. But I mean, time's marching on. I mean, I think he's 33 now, so time is getting on, and of course all the debacle with the Ben situation back in October. But I think Smith will give him a hard fight. I think he'd actually be a harder fight for him than Conor Benn would have been. But I would definitely go for Eubank Jr. if I was a betting man, which I'm not, because I get things wrong sometimes and I'm not stupid. I would definitely go for Eubank Jr. To win that one. And then of course the talk of Golovkin in the future, which is probably a good shout actually, because Golovkin's getting old now. I mean, he'll be 42 this year, or 41, whatever he is. He's getting on a bit. He looked very flat against Alvarez a few months back, so I think it's time he'd be for the taking, because I think he's got the IBF and the WBA super title. So I think the winner of this probably would have an easier time with him than a few years ago when he was a monster. But the undercard's looking good as well. Got React 4 against Glowacki. Now, Glowacki's not what he once was, but he's still a good test, I think. And obviously, Joe Parker's making an appearance, his first appearance since he was knocked out by Joe Joyce back in October time. So, yeah, it should be a good night of boxing. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. So, yeah, that's just my little thoughts. Honestly, I do think Sky Sports have gone a bit over the top. I know they have to worry about everybody because they can't offend anybody, because everybody's easily offended these days. But I didn't really see anything hateful or homophobic. He just made a stupid, childish comment about him liking boys. So, But there you go. That's the modern world we live in, and just have to put up with it, I suppose. All right, enjoy the fight, folks. Take care.